ThorSport Racing has announced their 2021 Truck Series lineup. Kyle Busch talks about him racing in the Indianapolis 500, maybe currently on the back burner at the moment. And it looks like talks for Truex Jr. return to Joe Gibbs Racing past 2021 are starting to take place. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. We got a lot of NASCAR stories to discuss here today on the channel. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We're going to go ahead and start with all the sponsorship announcements from yesterday and today. So let's start off with Austin Dillon, as we're going to take a look at his 2021 Bass Pro Shops paint scheme. I have to say that this paint scheme looks really, really excellent. If you actually take a look at this car, the camo that's been on the car for the past couple years for Austin Dillon with the Bass Pro Shops schemes is officially gone, and it's more of a black. It kind of gives a little bit of an Intimidator feel, in my honest opinion. But I do like this paint scheme a lot. It's going to be a great addition out on the racetrack, and it's going to be very noticeable as well, and I really do like this paint scheme a lot. Forever Lawn is going to be sponsoring a majority of the season for Jeff Earnhardt in 2021. So Jeff Earnhardt has a major sponsor for the 2021 season with JD Motorsports. I believe the car was also revealed, if I'm not mistaken, but it's really cool that Forever Lawn is jumping on to sponsor Jeff Earnhardt for the majority of the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. That's one thing with JD Motorsports, is they're looking for drivers that do bring sponsorship, and Jeff Earnhardt has a pretty big name, with Earnhardt being his last name, so he's going to be able to attract more sponsors. But it's really cool that Forever Lawn is going to be sponsoring him for a majority of the 2021 season. Pristine Auctions is going to be an associate sponsor for Christopher Bell in the NASCAR Cup Series, and they're going to be a primary for Ty Gibbs and ARCA. And I also do believe in the Xfinity Series, but I cannot confirm that if they're going to be sponsoring in the Xfinity Series as well. It's really cool that another company is going to be jumping on to sponsor Christopher Bell. Yes, it's not an official primary sponsor for Christopher Bell, but it's really cool that Christopher Bell is able to attract certain sponsors, and it's really cool that Pristine Auctions is going to be sponsoring Christopher Bell in the 2021 season. WIL Enterprises is going to be sponsoring Spencer Boyd in 2021 in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. I actually really do like this paint scheme a lot. It's really, really good, and it's going to be also very noticeable out on the Truck Series racetrack as well. I really do like the scheme a lot, and I cannot wait to see this paint scheme out on the racetrack. Again, really cool scheme. I'm also a big fan of Spencer Boyd myself. He's been able to track other sponsors as well, and I do like that this will be, with WML Enterprises, will be the major sponsor for him in 2021. The next paint scheme we're going to take a look at is Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s 2021 NOS Energy scheme. And this will be the scheme that he'll use for the Busch Clash, and he'll use for Daytona 500. It wasn't confirmed he's going to run this paint scheme for other races or not, but he will at least run this paint scheme for the Busch Clash in Daytona. It's a little bit updated as well. I really do like this paint scheme a lot. I mean, all the paint schemes that we've been seeing, a majority of them have been really good this year, and this one is no exception. This is a really good paint scheme, and it's very noticeable, and I really do like the NOS Energy scheme that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is going to use for 2021. Dude Wipes is going to be sponsoring Anthony Alfredo for 6 races in the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season, as he's moving over to the 38 car for Front Row Motorsports. They will sponsor him at Homestead, Bristol Dirt, Kansas, New Hampshire, Bristol once again, and then they'll sponsor him finally at Martinsville International Speedway. Dude Wipes is a pretty big, wide-known company. It's also a pretty big online meme as well. Dude Wipes is a cool company, and it's really cool that they're going to be sponsoring Anthony Alfredo for 6 races in the 2020 season. And good luck to Anthony Alfredo this year, as he will continue to gain experience in NASCAR, and good luck to Anthony Alfredo this upcoming season. Filter Time is going to be sponsoring Josh Berry at Daytona International Speedway. This is the only race as of right now that they're planning on sponsoring him in 2021. Josh Berry, I think, is a really great driver, and also Filter Time is a really good paint scheme. All the paint schemes that Filter Time has shown, especially since they've worked with Justin Allgaier, the paint schemes in general look really good, and this one is no exception. I really do like this paint scheme a lot, and it's going to be a great addition out of the racetrack for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And then the final paint scheme that actually was revealed today was the DeWalt team. Now, DeWalt has been working with the 20 team with Christopher Bell for the last couple years. They are going to be sponsoring Truex Jr. in the Busch Clash in 2021. And this is a little cursed, to be honest with you. It's a little different than the usual 20 schemes. I don't remember if they're going to be sponsoring Kyle Busch this year with the 18 team or not. We do know that they're going to be sponsoring Truex Jr. in the Busch Clash as well. I do really like this paint scheme a lot, and it's going to be a great addition out on the racetrack to see in the NASCAR Cup Series. To the next story of today's episode, Tony Bredinger is going to be driving for Young's Motorsports in 2021 in the 02 in the ARCA Series, and she actually making her Truck Series debut in the number 82 in the NASCAR Truck Series. So there are going to be 4 Young's Motorsports trucks in 2021, and her debut is going to be at Daytona International Speedway in the NASCAR Truck Series. The number of races that Tony Brenninger is going to run in the Truck Series has not been announced. I do believe in ARCA it's going to be 8 races with that team in 2021 in ARCA, but it has not been announced how many races Tony Brenninger is going to run in 2021 in the Truck Series. I think this is a really good opportunity for her. I think Tony Brenninger's done a really good job in late model. She also was a racer in open wheel when she drove sprint cars and also raced in USAC as well. I've seen a lot of good things out of her, and I do think that Tony Brenninger in 2021, this is a really good opportunity for her to gain experience. Again, there's going to be no practice qualifying for many races, and she'll also have to qualify in for the Truck Series, and there's a lot of trucks that are going to be qualifying in this year, and it's a really good opportunity for her, and good luck to her in 2021, and it's really exciting that Tony Brenninger is going to be racing in the Truck Series while enjoying the Truck Series field in 2021. On to the next story. Jason White is coming back to NASCAR. He'll be driving for RSS Racing for the Daytona season opener in 2021, driving a 23 car for them in 2021. And Drink A Game, which is a company that Johnny Damon owns, will be the major sponsor for Jason White for that single race in 2021. A little bit of backstory for you. There's 2 Jason Whites that race in NASCAR. This is not the Canadian Jason White. This is the American Jason White. Jason White used to race in the NASCAR Truck Series for Jodanette Motorsports and drove the 23 truck for him. So he's got his number ride back as well. Jason White used to race in the Truck Series. He had some decent success and actually got a runner-up finish, I believe, when and Nelson Piquet Jr. won in the Truck Series at Michigan International Speedway. But Jason White also got a runner-up finish as well. And he has some decent success as well. It's really cool that Jason White is going to come out of retirement. I think the last time he raced in the Truck Series was back in 2013, but he's going to be racing in the Xfinity Series. And I do think that this is a really cool opportunity for Jason White, and I am wishing him nothing but the best. And good luck to Jason White headed into the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Hopefully there is a possible opportunity for him to run more races. And I'm wondering what other races that they're going to have, what other drivers they're going to have run that 23 car as well. We'll have to see what happens. On to the next story. Justin Haley is going to be driving 2 races in 2021 as of right now for Spire Motorsports in the NASCAR Cup Series. He'll drive for them at Phoenix International Speedway in Michigan in their number 77 car. The sponsors he'll have are General Formations, Motors America, and Royal Sovereign will be the major sponsors for Justin Haley in 2021 for those select races. Justin Haley was expected to drive some select races for Spire Motorsports. We didn't know which races he was going to be driving. There's maybe more races that he's going to run. We do know right now that he's going to be driving 2 races for him. And this absolutely makes a lot of sense that Justin Haley is getting some experience in the NASCAR Cup Series, especially since, there is a possibility in the future that College Racing is going to want to go up full-time, and I do think that Justin Haley is going to be their driver in the near future that will go up with him when he goes full-time at Cup. He decided not to go to Cup this year to get more experience in the Xfinity Series, but it makes a lot of sense. The last time he raced in the Cup Series, I think, was last year at the Daytona 500 when he was able to make it in, and he's at least going to have an opportunity to run 2 starts. Again, what are my expectations for Justin Haley? I think ultimately his goal is to try to do as well as he can. I think he should try to at least attempt to finish in the top 30 with his team, especially since they're going to be getting some Hendrick and ECR upgrades, and they are going to be working with Chip Ganassi this year. So his goal, try to finish in the top 30 in both those races and get as much experience as he can when he does go up to the Cup Series. I think Justin Haley is a really good driver, and I do think that he will do very well in the Cup Series in 2021. But we'll have to see what happens. But it's really cool that Justin Haley is getting an opportunity to race in the Cup Series in 2021 for a couple races. And I'm wondering what other races they're going to have for what other drivers, because we know that Justin Haley is going to run 2 races for sure, and Jay McMurray is going to run Daytona 500. But it's really awesome that that's going to happen, and good luck to them headed in 2021. On to the next story. Joey Logano is going to be running a dirt car UMP modified on February 5th and February 6th at Volusia International Speedway. Now, a little bit of backstory behind this. Joey Logano's good friend Ryan Flores, who's a pit crew member at Team Penske, was planning on driving his car at Volusia, but Joey Logano called up for an opportunity, and he is going to be driving this to get more experience. Now, let's be honest here. It's no surprise that you're seeing more Cup Series drivers attempting to run races in dirt cars. We've seen drivers like Chase Elliott go out and race some dirt races. We've seen guys like Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson continue to gain experience in dirt. It's no surprise that drivers like Joey Logano are trying to get experience because Joey Logano's at a big disadvantage. Now, Joey Logano does have some previous experience in dirt racing, but it's been quite a bit of time. He raced in the Prelude to the Dream twice, I think, back in 2010, and I also do believe in 2011 or 2012, but I can't remember exactly. But Joey Logano does have some former experience on the dirt tracks, and it makes a lot of sense that he's getting an opportunity. I don't think he's going to do great, to be honest with you, because it's been quite a bit of time, but it's going to be a good way for him to get a lot of experience as he heads to Bristol Dirt, and he'll at least be a little bit more ready to run the Bristol Dirt race than he was if he was not ready to run the Bristol Dirt. But it's really cool that he is going to have an opportunity to race at the Bristol, well, race the UMP mod, so he can have a little more experience for dirt in 2021. And now we're getting to the first of the major stories of today's episode. We're going to talk about ThorSport's 2021 driver lineup, and there's a lot of controversy around this, and I might get a little mad as well. So let's start off with the lineup. So driving the 13 for them is going to be Johnny Sauter. Driving the 88 is going to be Matt Crafton. Grant Enfinger and Christian Eckes are going to be splitting the number 98 car. That's right, Christian Eckes is joining ThorSport Racing in 2021. He'll drive 10 races for them, and Grant will drive 12 races for them in 2021. And Ben Rose will be driving the 99 truck for them, and they will be moving over to Toyota in 2021. I'm going to be very honest with you here. I'm very disappointed in ThorSport because really, you put Grant Enfinger instead of having as a full-time driver because, you know, he had won 4 races last year for you guys. And Johnny Sauter, who's in the 13, he didn't win a single race. And Grant Enfinger made the Final 4. Meanwhile, Johnny Sauter gets to keep his ride. Why? Why couldn't you put Christian Eckes in the 13 truck? Listen, I'm really happy that Christian Eckes is still getting an opportunity to race in trucks. But for the love of God, Johnny Sauter's not done anything for the last 2 years at the team. He's only scored 1 victory in the last 2 years and didn't even make the playoffs last year. Meanwhile, Matt Crafton and Ben Rose and Grant all made the playoffs last year and scored victories. So you're telling me that Grant deserves to go part-time? If it's sponsorship, then that means sponsorship needs to get fixed. But come on, Grant Enfinger won 4 races last year. He's been the best driver there the last couple of years. And you're telling me that he's going to get screwed over? I'm sorry, but that is ridiculous. How the hell does Grant Enfinger go from being a full-time driver and almost winning the championship last year to going part-time? It makes no sense. That's very disappointing. I am happy for Christian. He's still getting an opportunity, but I'm very disappointed in ThorSport, and I think they made the wrong decision, and Johnny Sauter should be out of the team. That's just my honest opinion on that, but that is the deal with ThorSport Racing. It is what it is, and sponsorship is still a big thing in game of the sport, but I'm very disappointed in ThorSport, and I just wish that there was an opportunity for Christian to go full-time into 13 and Johnny Sauter to be kicked to the boot. And there's going to be rivalry between Ben Rose and Christian Eckes, probably because those guys still have beef, and he finally responded to text after 4 months. So, yeah, Christian Eckes is going to the team, and I'm disappointed in that. That is really frustrating in my honest opinion. And now we're getting on to the next major story of this episode, as we're going to talk about Kyle Busch. Now, there have been talks the last couple months that Kyle Busch may run the Indianapolis 500 in 2021, but now we have official confirmation that Kyle Busch is not going to be running the Indianapolis 500 in 2021. Here's a quote that he said. He said, "The Indy 500 is currently on the back burner right now. Wouldn't want to do it until things are more normal and you could experience the full event with all the hoopla, which is all the ceremonies, like the Back Home Again Indiana, and all the major ceremonies with all the fans around in the stands." To me, it makes a lot of sense. Kyle Busch wants to be there to run the event with all of the major things happening and going around the Indianapolis 500. And it's not the first time that Kyle Busch had thought about this. There were talks that Kyle Busch may run the Indy 500 2020 for possibly Team Penske. He actually got approved to run the event, but the approval came way too late and there was no opportunity for Kyle Busch to run the Indianapolis 500. But he's not ruled out the possibility of running the Indianapolis 500. I think he absolutely should. He could bring a lot of NASCAR events over to the Indianapolis 500 for people that have never watched Indy 500 and check out the Indy 500 because Kyle Busch does have a lot of fans. Yes, Kyle Busch is also not one of the most liked drivers in NASCAR, but Kyle Busch does have a lot of fanfare. So it would definitely make a lot of sense for Kyle Busch to have an opportunity to race, you know, in the Indianapolis 500. But it is really cool that Kyle Busch is thinking about this in the future, but as of right now, Kyle Busch is not looking at running the Indianapolis 500. Again, I would like him to run the Indy 500, definitely. I really would think that he would, if he is to run the Indy 500, he's going to go to Team Penske because if that is a Chevy back brand, and Honda and Toyota kind of have a little bit of a beef because they're competing in Japan right now, so he wouldn't go to a Honda brand, he would go over to a Chevy brand and run for Team Penske because that was where the talks were going, apparently. But Kyle Busch is not running the Indy 500, and that's actually been confirmed from Kyle Busch himself today, talking to Bob Parker. So Kyle Busch is not going to be running the Indy 500 this year, but he's not ruled out the possibility of running the Indianapolis 500 in the near future. And now we're getting on to the final major story of today's episode. Martin Truex Jr. looks like the contract talks are beginning to happen for Martin Truex Jr. to return to Joe Gibbs Racing from 2022 and beyond. He has said that he's had talks with Joe Gibbs Racing about racing beyond 2021, and things have moved forward. Team has not announced an extension, but sounds like that the plan is for him to remain there past 2021. It makes a lot of sense. Now, Martin Truex Jr., for those who don't know, he is a driver that has a contract year. He signed a 3-year deal with this team back in 2019, and this is the final year for that. So, contract talks for Martin Truex Jr. are beginning to happen for him. Now, Martin Truex Jr. in 2019, when he joined Joe Gibbs Racing, he had a lot of success that year with Cole Pearn because Cole Pearn moved over from Furniture Row Racing. So he's been in Toyota Pipeline since around 2016, and now he's going to be staying with the team for 2021. And 2020, there wasn't as much success for Martin Truex Jr. He was only able to get one win, but he was a very consistent driver because Cole Pearn left and James Small left. And there was a very small possibility that Martin Truex Jr. was maybe thinking about leaving Joe Gibbs Racing. But now we're starting to hear that Martin Truex Jr. may be remaining with Joe Gibbs Racing past 2021, and it absolutely makes a lot of sense. And this is where things in speculation is getting. How long is Martin Truex Jr. going to race in NASCAR? Because Martin Truex Jr. is around that age where a lot of your championship caliber abilities kind of start going away, because there was a graph that David Smith drew, and basically around the age of 39 and 40 is where your championship level kind of starts going away, maybe peak up to 41 or 42. But Martin Truex Jr. is kind of at that peak, and last year really showed that Truex was not the most championship caliber driver, though he still got a victory. I think Truex in 2021, his goal is to try to at least get 1 or 2 in and maybe rebound with James Small. And I think Koba kind of affected him as well. But I think Martin Truex Jr. is going to renew with this team. Again, like I said, extensions and talks have not been announced at this current time. But I do think Martin Truex Jr. is going to return to this team as talks are beginning. And I do think Truex is going to sign a 1 or 2 year extension. I would say he's probably going to be with the team at least till 2022 or 2023. So that now begins talking about Harrison Burton and Brandon Jones, because Brandon Jones has been in the Joe Gibbs Racing pipeline for the last couple years. So what happens to Brandon Jones if Martin Truex Jr. renews? Because you know that Kyle Busch is going to renew him and Chris Bell is going to be coming back in 2022. Well, I think Brandon Jones goes to 2311 if 2311 expands, because 2311 has plans to expand in the near future. They would like to expand to maybe a 3 or 4 car team. And Brandon Jones, and him being in the Toyota pipeline, it would make sense for him to logically go up to the Cup Series, but he would probably go to 2311 Racing if they expanded. You also have to think about John Nemechek probably going over there as well. So that's where all the talks are beginning. But it's very interesting that Martin Truex Jr. is bringing this up and that their contract talks are beginning to happen for 2021. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's NASCAR news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications so you'll be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links in the description below for that. Tomorrow, I am going to be doing Super Bowl 55 predictions and picks, and I will tell you who I think is going to win, and I will tell you what the score of the game is going to be, and I'll tell you I think it's going to be a very close game in this year's Super Bowl. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. If you do that, I would greatly appreciate that. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.